Hey everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today I'm back with another apartment renovation, and we are renovating 920 Medina Studios, which I want to say is in the arts quarter of San Myshuno. But the idea behind this one is something I've been wanting to do for a while, which is sort of combining the ideas of both minimalism and maximalism and having two roommates that are basically opposites. One is a minimalist and one is a maximalist. So that's exactly what we're doing here today. I did stream this over on Twitch last night, so you may have seen this process already if you follow over there. And if not, and you'd like to join in the future, I do stream 3 to 5 times a week over on twitch.tv/Gryphi, and I would love to have you join us. But if you like this build and you'd like to download it for yourself, it is available right now on the Sims 4 gallery. You can find it under my EA ID, which is Gryphi, Gryphi. You could also find it under the hashtag Gryphi, and that information will be in the description down below as well. Anyway, we are starting here in the kitchen. When I was kind of theorizing doing this idea, I was imagining something that had a modern base to it, and then the decorations might lean a little bit more maximalist. And when I was streaming this, the idea was that maybe the sim that lives here put up some pictures looking for a new roommate, and the photos they put up are from before they decorated. So it shows this nice, sleek, modern space, and the sim that is looking for a roommate is definitely more on the minimal side. And so they're like, oh, perfect. I think me and the sim will get together or like get along really nicely. I like the space. I love how sleek, modern, minimalist it is. And it turns out that the person that lived here didn't show what it currently looks like, where there's a lot of color. They've painted some of the walls. There's just a lot of pattern and color, and not everything fully goes together, because that's kind of the idea of maximalism, is that there's a lot of everything. However, because I wanted this to be a mixture of the two styles, the base of the home and like the built-in stuff leans more minimalist. And then, you know, there is a second roommate that has moved in. So it's not fully minimalist or maximalist, but there are elements of both in here. I don't know if that makes sense, but that was the idea behind it. And I really hope you like how it came out. It was a challenge to do, and I'm glad that I finally attempted it. It was something that I was a little nervous to do. I have definitely done both minimalist and maximalist spaces before, but I've never combined them into one apartment. But let me know if those are things you would like to see again in the future that are like entirely one or entirely the other, because I would be totally down to revisit both of those ideas. Also, thank you so much for your feedback on my last video where I asked about length of videos and when I edit out a lot of the process versus keeping some of it in when I'm very indecisive. And I think I am going to go forward and still edit some things out, but keep more of the process in. And that's kind of what I did with this video. I did edit out some of the indecisiveness and spinning of the camera, but maybe not as much as I typically would. So let me know if you like this one. It also wasn't like that long of a build. I recorded it during stream, so it was maybe like an hour and 40 minutes. And it's cut down to 14. So let me know if this one is a good happy medium. And with that, we are decorating the kitchen. And as you can see, it's a very simple kitchen, but I'm trying to add a lot of bright colors in the decor and spice it up a little bit with still keeping the simple fixtures that I imagine this apartment came with. And I do change the color of the backsplash tile, and there ends up being a tile on the floor in here too, just because it felt a little bit too stark of a contrast. And I think it is realistic that you would move into some place and they might have a different color tile, but still have all the modern fixtures. Or maybe the sim that lives here, it originally had this white tile and then the wood on the floor, but they used some peel and stick options to go ahead and brighten up the space a little bit. I think that's also quite realistic. It's pretty common to see that on a lot of like interior design ideas for renter-friendly options. I've even done peel and stick tile in my bathroom, so I understand. Anyway, I am continuing to move around the cabinets. I kept a lot of this in, as you can see, where I was very indecisive on how I wanted this to be laid out, because I really wanted to use these pots and pans from Adventure Awaits in these fun colors, and for a really long time I was determined to have them on this wall, like near the stove. But I do end up moving them in the end to a different wall because it just felt too cluttered having them there. And trying to figure out how I wanted the actual upper head cabinets to look was difficult, because I didn't like when it suddenly had one that was longer than the rest in the middle. So playing around with that. And I also decided having a hanging plant or a draping plant on one of the shelves would look really nice. So I grabbed this one from I believe that's from the Sleek bathroom kit. And so is the tile that I'm using here in the kitchen. I also really enjoyed putting this vase on the counter that is actually part of a side table. It is from Get Famous. And I just kind of merged it into the counter to put this little teal vase here because I tried to use a lot of teal in this build. As soon as I put the wallpaper down on the wall where the fireplace is and picked out the fireplace, I was like, okay, we're really committing to the teal in this build. I think it's really fun. And I thought it worked really nicely because of the small amount of teal that is in one of the pillows on the first couch that I grabbed. And then I paired it with this other couch from the Paranormal pack. And then we try a couple of different coffee tables. I don't end up keeping this one in the end, but I do like it. I feel like it matches the sofas really well. It just doesn't match the wood flooring. And I think I might change the wood flooring as well. Oh, and then somebody in chat suggested that we put a tile backsplash behind the fireplace. And I am so glad that we did that. I think it looks so nice. The one I picked is from the Riviera Retreat kit. And it's perfect. It's got like the teals and blues, plus that like orangey yellow color. It's absolutely perfect. I just feel like it really made this space come together. And that's the kind of stuff that's really fun about streaming when I'm making builds is we all get to kind of collaborate on a build. And I might not have thought to put the tiles there, but somebody in chat suggested it. So I really enjoy sometimes building these things live. And I would love if you wanted to join us in the future. It's honestly such a blast to just like hang out and build and chit chat together. So as I mentioned, I stream a few times a week. There is a link in the description. Anyway, working on the living room now, I was really excited to use this television, which is from the Casanova Cave kit. I scaled it down and then kind of merged it into the wall and raised it up a little bit. So it looks like that bottom portion that's normally on the ground is like a floating TV unit. I did this in a recent build. I can't remember which one, but I really liked how it looked. So I decided to do it here again. And then there are some accent chairs in the corner. I started with 2, but I go down to 1. I just thought it looked a little bit too busy. And that one is from Cozy Kitsch. I also love the really minimal coffee table I picked out, which I believe is from the recent Modern Retreat kit, or it might be from Garden to Table. I'm not actually sure. I want to say it's from Modern Retreat though. And then this little table that I put behind the sofa I thought was perfect for the space. It's actually from the Decor to the Max kit, or the kit that really focuses on maximalism. So I used that. There's some little bottles of like juice and stuff back there. And then I'm decorating this bookcase that I put next to the television with a couple of more colorful items since it is a little bit more toned down over here where we have the very minimal wood paneled wall. I also decided to put some really pretty mirrors up above the TV. I want to say those are also from Decor to the Max, as is this lamp, which I love. I use this lamp all the time in other contexts, and I felt like I just had to find a way to put it in here. And I actually tried quite a few times and kept getting rid of it and then putting it back because I was like, I don't have anything else with this metal color. And then I added something else and I was like, you know what? Maximalism is the perfect time to have mixed metals in a space. So I decided to add that, and then I am playing around with the curtains, and I decided to go with a different curtain that is also orange and red, but it is slightly brighter. So I am just scaling these with the tool mod because they were a little bit the wrong size. And then I actually ended up swapping out the windows as well for a different one. I think these ones are from Get Famous, but I think they're really pretty. I like how simple they are, just like a couple of panels stacked on top of each other. And then I also decided to get a couple of columns on either side of the fireplace to sort of section off or put an end piece on where that tile is. I thought that that made a lot of sense. And then we are moving on into the hallway, which ends up being a really simple hallway. I used this really simple base game runner rug in this neutral swatch, and then I brought a lot of that same wood paneling into the hallway, but also this pretty blue tile, or not tile, this blue wallpaper that I originally had in the living room I brought into the hallway, and then I am just quickly picking out the beds I'm thinking of using in each of the bedrooms. The swatches change a little bit, especially in the room that is more maximalist, because I wanted the living room to sort of be a mixture of the two based on the concept I had earlier. But the bedrooms are obviously very separate. One is way more colorful and patterned than the other, and then one is incredibly minimalist, and that one took like 2 seconds to decorate because I felt like they wouldn't have that much decor in their space. Anyway, this is the front hallway. I used this long side table from the Cozy Kitsch kit, which is one of my favorite kits in this game. And I'm just decorating it with a couple of different items, mostly from the Grange Mudroom kit. I do get rid of that lamp that I have here, though, because I decided to put some of the wall sconces that I also had up above the TV next to the mirror. So I just moved a couple of these things around, and I think I added another plant on the other side to balance it out a little bit since I got rid of one of the larger items, up here being that other lamp that I really like, but it shows up quite a few times in this build. It's just so nice. It's from Modern Retreat, and I've been using it nonstop ever since that kit came out like a week or two ago. Oh my gosh, that was so recent. And then we just got SpongeBob kits. They have been like nonstop giving us kits lately, and it's kind of odd, especially the SpongeBob kits. I did a whole video talking about them and showing off all of these swatches, and I was a little bit brutal, I'm going to be honest. I just was not very happy to see it, even though I am a huge SpongeBob fan. I just don't like seeing the mixture of like real life properties in the game. There are some exceptions where I could be like, okay, there's like, I don't know, if we got an IKEA kit for The Sims 4, like there was IKEA in The Sims 2, I'm like, okay, I could see maybe there being a Sims version of a furniture store like that. But having like a real life property like SpongeBob in The Sims just feels really off-putting, and so many of the items just have his face on them, and I don't think they're very usable. But probably at some point I'm going to try to build something with some of the items like the doors and windows and maybe some of the wallpapers. Let me know if that's something you would like to see. I would totally be down to do an attempt at some sort of build using some of the SpongeBob stuff. But I'm going to actively try not to use it too often because I know a lot of people aren't going to buy that kit. And I don't want it so my builds are not accessible because of one specific kit, if that makes sense. Either way, let me know what you're thinking about that. Anyway, this is the Maximalist room. It's not as maximalist as I could have gone with it, but I did really like how this came out. I used the wallpaper from Decor to the Max with the paneling over it. I have a couple of really pretty plants, and that should be it for that room. And we are moving on to our minimalist room, where I picked out one of my favorite beds from Dream Home Decorator, I'm pretty sure. And then I just paired it with these curtains from Desert Luxe that are really simple and sheer. I have a couple of bedside tables I'm going to place down in here. And then I actually used this rug from Eco Lifestyle. I just duplicated it and put two of them under the bed. The bedside tables are from Lovestruck, and I love these ones. I think they are so pretty. And the same lamps that I used in the other room have made an appearance in here as well. And then I just get a dresser and a mirror. And I think maybe a plant in the corner, or maybe I don't even. Oh, I did get a plant in the corner, and that's it for that room. And then there are two bathrooms in this apartment. They're both pretty similar in that they have the same color tiles. I figured I would have this because this is actually what I end up having in the kitchen. I changed the color a couple of different times. I'm not sure what the last thing you saw was, because at one point it was white, at one point it was orange, and then I had this more teal color. But this is the same tile floor and wall that I have in the kitchen, so I decided to have it in the bathrooms as well. And one of the bathrooms I then added even more color to, because I was imagining the sim that originally had this apartment decorated that one with their maximalist taste. And then this one right here is the one that's a little bit more simple. It is also the one that has a washer and dryer in it, so there is laundry that your sims can do in this apartment. And then here is the other bathroom, where I'm trying to find a colorful bath mat. I ended up using this one from high school years, and then this artwork from Decor to the Max I thought was perfect. Anyway, that is pretty much it for this build. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and click that bell to be notified when I upload. And a massive thank you to my YouTube members for your continued support. If you'd like to become a member yourself, you can click the join button below the video or the link in the description. Please enjoy the screenshots, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone.